Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Izzy Sandpit TV and podcast. I hope you're enjoying all the content. This week I want to talk about my Facebook group, Izzy Sandpit TV Club. I do polls, I do some suggestions, I also do a weekly album of the week. If you want to get involved, type Izzy Sandpit TV Club and join in the fun. Before I talk about today's artist, I just want to pay tribute to Taylor Hawkins, drummer of Foo Fighters. He was found dead on March 25th, 2022. It's a very sad time, and we lost one of the greatest rock and roll drummers in my lifetime. We send our condolences to his family and friends and his fellow band members in the Foo Fighters. This week, I've got John Paul Quantrill, the drummer from Stormbringer. Stormbringer are a rock band from Northampton. Stormbringer are about to play their UK tour, along with channel friends Sylvain. We talk about all sorts. We talk about their recent new album. We talk about playing the main stage at Bloodstock and Download. And we talk about the record industry in general. I hope you enjoy the chat. Good evening, everyone, from the UAE. It is Izzy Sandpit here, Chats with Izzy. And today I have got the drummer from rock band Stormbringer, John. Hi, John. How are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing well, mate. How are you?
I'm good, pal. I'm good.
Good.
We were just chatting before, for those that are listening on podcast and watching on YouTube. This is John's first interview in 20 years, he said, and he's drinking punk IPA.
I am just got a bit of punk.
And I'm drinking a cup of tea because what more English?
Tea. To be fair, I live on tea as well, so that's all right.
Oh man, do you know what? I'm more of a coffee drinker, but I'm enjoying this cup of tea. So nice.
Yeah, when I'm home, I drink tea all day long. So right.
Yeah, anything hot really, coffee or tea,
yeah.
Either one. So how you doing, man?
I'm good.
Good.
It's all good.
Good. So Stormbringer formed in 2011. Tell me about how you guys started. Tell me what's the story.
Basically, the story starts really back a lot earlier than then. Blimey, back in the 80s, really, I played in a band with my brother, who's now the guitarist of Stormbringer. We also had Dom, who is the original Stormbringer guitarist as well, who's still with us.
Yeah. And
we had a band called The Calling, and we went for a long time, 20 odd years, just cruising around doing our stuff. We started really young. I mean, our first show, not as that band, but one of the lineups, I was 13 years old. So we started very young. We were gigging proper shows by the time we were 15, 16 years old. So we've been at it a long time. And then basically in 2004, I owned a venue called The Attic. Dom was then in a band called Deadeye, and he was also playing with other bands as well. And Ash, who was the original guitarist as well of Stormbringer, I knew him because they were both signed to a record label which was started in 2004 called Attic Records. Right. So we've all known each other for years. And Dom was doing really well. He was in a band called Viking Skull. He was quite successful, and they were touring. They'd done America. They'd done Europe. They were all over the place. And it was for him sort of coming to a bit of an end, really. Right. And it was 2010 time, and Ash and Dom approached me and sort of said, look, we're planning on starting a band. Do you want to sort of do it? And I was quite negative, if I remember right. I was like, no, not really. I'm full-time promoting for Attic Promotions. I'm running a record company. I've got a pub. It's all sort of a bit busy. But it all came to a head, really. In 2000, just before then, it was about 2008, I think it was, I sold the music venue and the pub and stuff like that, and I just kept on the record label, which was quite small, really. I mean, it was there as a non-profitable album, really. Record company to start sort of help bands off, and it all went from there, really. I sort of said, "Can you come and jam with this new band? If you don't want to join, just come and help me out and play drums until we find a drummer." And then it went from there. It was first rehearsal, and here we are. However many years later, still on album 4.
Yeah, you know, you knew as soon as you walked in that room and he wanted you on drums. It was like
he knew straight away that as soon as he'd got me to that rehearsal room, he'd got me.
dangled the carrot. The drumming carrot was dangled, and before you know it, you're drumming. So you've just released or recently released "We Got the Right," a new song. Really good song. Tell me about some of your back catalogue.
Like I say, we're on album 4. The first album came out in 2013, which was me on drums, Darren McCullough on bass, Dom on guitar, and Ash on guitar, and then we had Mike Stockley on vocals, and we did really well. We picked up a quite a good record deal straight away with Transcend Music.
Awesome.
We got on some good shows. We didn't headline. We played the main stage at Bloodstock Festival.
Yeah, I saw.
We played Download Festival that year as well, and it was all good. It was all going well. Mike then he had a little baby, and we sort of had to part company. He couldn't commit, and it was the right thing to do at the time. Then Jimmy came along, someone we'd known from other bands in the local area. Then went on to do the second album, which was Blood and Rust. We actually recorded that album with Mike. It was already recorded and ready to be released. It was just really bad timing. Mike had decided that that's the right thing to do, was to go. So good old Jimmy really had something like 3 or 4 weeks to rewrite the whole album and record the vocals, which bless him, he did. We were in the studio with Russ Russell, producer, who's obviously recorded many a big band. Great album. It's a weird album for me, Blood and Rust. It's an album where
I like it.
I'm very split with it because it was written completely different to how it actually ended up. But also, it was a great album. Then we went on to do the third album, Born a Dying Breed, with Jimmy, which, to be fair, up to that point, that was, I think, 2017 that came out. That was probably the best album we'd actually released. A real good production again from Russ. We had a real good time writing that album. Ash had just left us after Blood and Rust as well. So we wrote the whole of that album with just Dom playing guitar, and it just worked for that album. The recording worked. It was all like a nice style for Dom. A lot of it written with Jimmy as well. It was written with Jimmy, so his vocal performance was obviously a lot better. And then, unfortunately, Jimmy found new love on the Channel Islands and ventured off to do his thing. Still good friends with Jimmy, great guy. Yeah, and then
Without the combustion.
Out of the blue, really, I just contacted Mike and said, "What are you doing?" And he just sort of said, I'm not doing anything. He just studied, he'd been in college and studied music and stuff, and his little one was little no more. And he said it was the right time for him to come back. So we started writing the fourth album, and then basically COVID hit.
Cracking. We all know the story of that one at the moment, don't we?
Yeah. So it was, again, a really strange album to write, because we wrote half the album in the rehearsal rooms like we've always done, written it as a band. My brother Daz had joined the band because we obviously wanted to go back to having 2 guitarists. So he was hot on writing as well, and I've written with him for a long time. So it was actually easier for me because I can't play guitar, I just play drums, but I write
Neither can I.
Guitar riffs and vocal tunes, and he's really good at relaying them and playing them. So I managed to actually, for the first time ever, get a couple of tracks what I've written onto the album, which is really cool. They're band songs, so it's not, we don't like individually write, we're always class as Stormbringer, right? But it was strange, we were all writing at home in our own studios, firing files to each other, and suddenly realised, once we were allowed to get into a rehearsal room, that half the album we've never ever played together as a band. We'd just written as parts for each other. Got in and it worked really well. Got in the studio with Russ again. He produced it, did a really good job on this album, and we released it on Attic, and it's been really successful. So
now, do you know, I had a listen back, and I think some of my favourite songs are Medication, No Redemption, Rise, and Mirage. What a killer riff! That like when I was listening, just all
the video. Yeah, we released that.
Yeah, really good. And a cheeky
Mike's vocals came out really well, and he wanted to write certain things for this album, and it worked really well. So yeah, good album.
No, and there was that a cheeky little cover of Psycho Killer at the end by Talking Heads. That was fun. I liked that. I listened to that. I was like,
again, we were in the studio and we had 9 songs, and we've always had this.
That all checked out,
yeah. We've always had this thing with Stormbringer that we always want a minimum of 10 songs on our albums because we feel like we're cheating. And we don't cheat anyone, so we were adamant, and we used to play a lot of we weren't a covers band. We used to play once a year. We used to make a band and get all of our mates together, and at Christmas we'd play a show of just covers. And the Talking Heads song was always one we played every year, and we just decided to do it, and it worked really well. So.
No, it did. It did work well. And about the 10 songs, A Death Grip on Yesterday by Atreyu. It had 8 songs. I remember going all those years ago to like Music Zone and buying that album, getting it and putting it in my CD player and listening. And then I got halfway through, and at the end, it played the last song's Untitled Finale. Just a great album. And I'm like, that it? And then I check the back of the CD. I'm like, it's only fucking 8 songs on this. Where's the other tracks? Where's the 2 songs at least?
So we always try and write 12, 13 tracks and pick the best 10.
Minimum of 10.
On the album, so.
Absolutely.
Minimum of 10. That's our rule. Minimum of 10.
Absolutely.
We've never tried to do a bigger album with less songs.
I mean, I can understand if it's a Tool album, where each song's like 15 minutes, or Opeth, or Dream Theater, sorry, not Opeth, where it's like 15 minutes long. Yeah, all right. I'll give you that. You can have 7 tracks, but then we're talking an hour and 20 minutes anyway. But I just look at it, I love that album, but it just feels shortchanged.
A bit more, don't you?
But it's a very good album, quality over quantity. So, I won't slag it too much. It's too much. So, just touching on the record label again, you said so. Attic Records is your own label, but it's run as a not-for-profit. So, what's the idea behind that about bringing other unsigned bands in?
I mean, because I did a lot of it when I was sort of, like I said, back in sort of 2004.
Yeah,
it became noticeable quite quickly, really, that unsigned bands and young bands really don't get a shot. I mean, you get some bands who are picked up by labels like back in the day, Young Def Leopards and stuff like that. But really, bands they work their nuts off and they don't get anything for it. And when I had the venue, this is how it started. I had the venue, and I used to deal with a lot of touring bands, and we had big bands, big artists coming in and their coaches and parking up and playing the venue. And I always used to try and put local sport bands on or young bands on. Bands who were really good bands but never got any good shows. And it started from there, really. And then the label started with Deadeye and Necrosis. They, again, didn't really have an outlet to release their albums. So I decided to release Deadeye's back in 2004, and then Necrosis just made an EP with Russ, and I released that as well. And it just went from there, really. And then suddenly other bands were like, they're good bands. We didn't put any band up. If they were a young, good band who just needed a good outlet, well, then we tried to do it. And all the sales money, after like the cost of postage stuff, they get all the money. And we run it all through Plastic Head, so it goes into the shops and it gets on Amazon. It's a proper outlet, so it just helps bands, really.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
John, let me ask you then, what's your opinion of the way that the music industry is at the moment, in terms of, mainly in the terms of classic rock? And I don't think that record labels are putting any money into that genre anymore. And it might be because I was reading somewhere that musicians, that the people that are coming to our shows or coming to rock and roll shows are in their 40s and 50s, and we're not bleeding the young blood through. So wonder why that is. What's your opinion on that?
I do see that. I mean, even for Stormbringer shows, obviously you're forever monitoring merchandise sales and who's buying on the internet. And I see this every day. The average Stormbringer is fan is mostly male, above 40, well, mid-30s up to 60s or whatever. They're people who have been
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are people who have been out gigging and been to shows and love live music. And I feel now that kids don't have that outlet, or they have no, they don't need to go out drinking in clubs and bars. I think they've been brought up really with the computer culture, sitting at home, making their own gamings. Look at young bands now, they're making a lot of their music on these sort of computers and stuff like that. And I think that's just the way the industry is. I mean, there's been a big shift in the industry itself, as far as I can tell, with record companies don't really play that much of a big part now. I think a lot of these bands have suddenly realised that, they need outlets still to be big and successful. But it's all to do with management companies and big outlets. I think the record industry just moved now into the management promotion side, and they control all the big shows, all the arena tours and stuff like that. That's the only way they can make money, because they know sales not coming from records anymore. So the way they need to make money is by selling tickets for extortionate prices at arenas. And that's sadly, kids can't afford that. So I think it's the working man who's older, who's got that spare change to spend, who are still supporting live music. And I think that's why the rock industry is aimed or targeted at the older generation. So
see, you've hit 2 points there. For me, in terms of cost, and I will say this to everyone that's listening and watching, that there is some great live bands out there where you can still pay £8 a ticket, and you can go and watch some really good live bands, unsigned bands that need your support. Funny enough, it made me laugh that I saw quite a funny meme on the internet of a room before COVID, of unsigned bands before COVID, and there's basically a band on stage with two people watching. Then it's bands during COVID with two people on stage, and with a band on stage and two people watching. Then bands after COVID when everyone's saying, "Oh, I really need live music," and it's two people watching and a full band on stage. And this is it. So if you want to go out and support live music, it is there, and there is a cost-effective way, of still watching bands. The other thing about you're absolutely right about the investment, that the record labels aren't interested as much now, because if you get big, then they will push you and they will promote you.
Definitely, yeah.
You've got to get to a certain level yourself now.
Yeah.
And a lot
of it is available for bands now. They can do it themselves. They can release their own material. They can record it themselves. Yeah. There's that element where a lot of younger or newer bands, they're not reliant on record companies anymore. They're able now through YouTube and other outlets to sort of do a lot of it themselves. Yeah. So, I'm all for that. I mean, the other big thing what I've seen, especially over the last sort of 30 years, is tribute bands. The big venues where I used to go and watch bands like Brilliant, Maiden. Yeah. You go on their websites now and it's AC/DC tribute bands, Led Zeppelin tribute band, blah, blah. All right, there's a place for that. I have no problem with tribute bands. No. You do see that the only way that some of these venues their outlets for survival is to target the older generation again, get people in to watch bands back from the 70s and 80s, because they can afford to do so. And they do. And they fill these rooms. I see tribute bands doing really well. And like I say, there's a definite place for them. It's the way it is.
Yeah, no, and I know a couple of I know a band, Farin, Matt. Matt and
Matt Black,
guitarist, and Matt the guitarist. Oh God, I forgot his name. Oh dear, Jake. They've started a rock set tribute band.
Yeah.
And I believe they're up north from where we are, but we cross paths and that. And I get on really well with Matt. He's put a couple of festivals on which we've played and that, and you do see it. I mean, there's bands like us. To be fair, we do all right. We sell merch, we sell albums. We do quite well on our little tours. We organise a lot of it ourselves. We're non-reliant on other people in the industry to sort of help us out. We like to think that any bookings we get are done, purely on the music, and but there's plenty of bands who struggle. They can't do this. They can't go out booking shows and stuff. Yeah. And we're not in it for the money. We understood a long, long time ago, it's always going to cost us money. We're never going to make money, but we do it because we love playing music. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know from running a YouTube channel and podcast. Yeah, I've got three buy me a coffees, which is like a Patreon, but it's a different version. And I'll give them a quick shout out. Thanks to John, Jody, and Eve, and Claire, who's chipped in a couple of ad hoc paying, buy me a coffees. It's brilliant. I think I made about 80 quid in the past few months, which is amazing. That's amazing that someone has paid me £80 for me to sit in my house in the middle of Dubai and pay me to do this. So I'm honoured, and I'm honoured that people like yourself, John, will take time out of their Saturday evenings and come and sit and chat to me, mate. So no, I appreciate it. So big love, man.
Really appreciate you having me on.
No, absolutely. It's all about helping you guys. If I can promote you, maybe someone will see you and think, oh, I like Stormbringer. Let's have a listen to that.
Yeah, brilliant. And we work like that. We are a hard working band. We're constantly in rehearsals, behind the scenes stuff, like pushing things, and we do work really hard. And to be fair, we try and help out other bands and stuff as well. We've got bands like Sylvain. They've come along. They're cool guys. They're easy to work with. We take them out. We do some shows. There's no bother with gear and stuff like that. We all just get on with it, and it's a real good laugh, which is what it should be.
Absolutely.
When the fun stops, it's time to stop. And I'm 47, 48 years old, and I'm still loving music, still loving going out playing. As long as my body can take it, I'll keep doing it. So yeah.
Well, maybe it'll come back round again. I still think that it goes in cycles. And I think it's
totally. Totally.
So sticking on Stormbringer, I've listened to your music, and I'm not going to lie, I've only ever listened to a couple of tracks before you come on to then I had a good deep dive into you. You're a mix of like Alter Bridge, Guns N' Roses. What are your main influences?
Bit of everything sort of thrown in there, really. Again, especially with this album, you can certainly tell that there's just different influences from different guys who are writing certain sections to songs. Where I know with Mike's voice as well, it's very. I think he's got that sort of voice where, like the Audio Slave, Chris Cornell thing, Soundgarden, sort of edge to it, but a little bit. He's not like a copycat or anything. He's got his own way of doing things. And Alice in Chains, he's into them sort of bands. Then you've got Dom, a guitarist who's quite. Back in the day, he was all into his glam music and stuff, but Guns N' Roses and stuff is definitely in there. And we tend to try and write like the big choruses and stuff like that. On all my musical tastes is all old stuff. I'm well into stuff like Ozzy, Randy Rhoads era, all them old bands. That's the music I still listen to, Whitesnake and stuff like that.
I'm still listening to
I'm really bad at listening to modern music, I'm afraid. I'm still stuck in the old stuff. So
ever since I've started doing this channel, I've discovered so many bands, because I've got so many that want to contribute and I'm always listening, and I've just discovered, and they're hopefully coming on in a couple of weeks' time, Shaman's Harvest. They're a rock band from America. Oh my God, where have these been for years? I've never
even out there when you start digging.
And they're massive, and they're amazing. They're so good. They've toured with so many bands. They've toured with AC/DC. They've toured with Poison. They've toured with, I think, Def Leppard. The list is just massive, and I'm like, I know they're quite a US centric band. They've toured all over the world, but I don't. Maybe I've just missed them. But oh my God, what a band! And then I was listening to some of their stuff, and it's great to just add a couple of new songs for when I'm going to the gym and just smash out. And some Stormbringers made the playlist. It's
brilliant.
So
thank you very much.
Oh, awesome! So you've got the UK tour coming up. Tell me where you're going. Tell me how many.
To be fair, it's quite a small one. We obviously didn't really book a lot because of the way with COVID and stuff like that. We all the festivals got dropped. We were supposed to play Hammerfest at Birmingham O2 Academy, but unfortunately Mike got COVID, so that knocked that one on the head. And then suddenly we thought, look, this album came out in November. We played one big show in Northampton at the Roadmender, which is sort of a hometown show, and that was really successful. And then nothing. We released the videos, and we didn't have any shows booked because no one was taking on gigs because of the uncertainty of what was happening. And it wasn't really till January that I decided, look, hang on a minute, guys, we need to get out and do some shows. And it's just a small little run we're doing really for April and May time. And then hopefully we're going to do a bigger tour later on in the year, October, November sort of time. And do some more. And then next year, let's hope we get the festivals back. So see where we go. Absolutely. Yeah.
So can you tell for the listeners and the watchers where you're playing without, so they'll go and look if they want to look. But
without being prompted, I've got to think of them now. First show is Ipswich. We are playing there. And then we've got, I think we're playing the Carlisle in Hastings.
Right.
And then we're doing a 4-day run. We're playing Trillions in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And then we're playing Nottingham the night after that. And then Whitchurch. That's a place called Percy's Rock Cafe.
Oh, you're playing Percy's?
It's not the biggest venue, but it's got some weird and wonderful things in there.
Beda have just played there.
They have, yeah. They did, yeah. They played that supporting the. I can't remember the official title of it. Supporting the music venue thing, yeah. And then we're playing another local show in Northampton, which is on the Sunday, which is the Easter bank holiday. That's at the Black Prince in Northampton. And then there's another string of dates after that, which I can't even remember.
They're playing Manchester Rebellion. Can't believe
Rebellion. Yeah, that's Rebellion, Manchester. Great. We've never actually played that venue.
Oh, it's a great venue.
I'm looking forward to playing there actually, because the guy who I've been dealing with, I think he's one of the guys who runs the place. He's been really, really helpful for the band, because we did have some shows booked, obviously, with some other promoters who have gone down and not done anymore. And they've stepped up and they've given us a day, and they've been really cool. So I'm really looking forward to sort of playing these venues. I think I probably missed a few of the dates out. We all go live next week for like full on advertising the tours and stuff. So yeah.
If anyone wants to check out Stormbringer, they're on Facebook and all their tour dates are on there. And they've got the good guys Sylvain, who are supporting them on a handful of dates. I remember I've been to so many gigs at Rebellion over the past few years. But I saw Jake, I met Jake and I met Matt at Fanfare and there. The Cool Knives, who are basically the guitarist and the bassist from Heaven's Basement.
Yeah, well, they're local guys. They're from Corby. They're literally 10 miles up the road from us. So we know them guys really well.
Well, they've gone quiet. I actually dropped them a little Facebook message asking, is there anything new? They've literally not said a word for about 4 months. And I'm like, ooh,
Maybe they're writing. Maybe they're in the studio.
No, absolutely. But they've just
maybe they're keeping it all under hat, and it's going to be really cool.
Really good band. And who were who were the headline band that day? From America. What they called? It escapes me. The Fallen State.
Okay.
Fallen State.
I don't know them much.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not one of my favourite bands. I've only listened to a handful of songs. Again, just can't get into them. No disrespect, Fallen State guys. If you just have to stumble across this, that's the joys of music, isn't it? You like some appeals and some just because over your head. Absolutely. So you've played main stage at Download. You've played Download. You played the main stage at Bloodstock. What was that like?
Bloodstock. Yeah, Bloodstock. That was an amazing show. Massive buzz. It almost, looking back now, came, I believe, at the wrong time for us in a way, because
why is that?
I think first album, still new with the band, played the show. I think if we were playing that show now, we'd have made a massive show of it. I think like if we were playing that show now, it would have been even more awesome than what we did. We had fun. It's a great festival. I love the place. I love playing there. We often go every few years. It's just a great atmosphere, great size. Great place. But I'd love to play there again now with the lineup we've got now and how this album's gone. It'd be really cool to play them sort of stages.
How did you get the gig at the time? How did you manage to secure it?
It all came through Transcend Music, to be fair. It came through the record company.
Right. Yeah. Is there no way you could get back on the stage with the current lineup?
We can always hope.
Get on the blower to someone?
we still contact all these people. Like I say, we do a lot of it ourselves now. I mean, I self-manage the band. Dom does some of it with the booking side, but it is all us. We do everything ourselves now. So it's just you get what you can.
Yeah.
So a lot of outlets, they deal with certain promoters, and it's all still old school, and they'll have so many slots per promoter or record company, and it's hard to get on them. So
no, it's very competitive. It is. Do you know, just talk about festivals. I looked at the lineups again because I was looking for an excuse to come back to the UK for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The Download, there's some great bands on the main stage, but Leeds Reading Festival's gone. It's completely different. There's about 4 bands that I'd watched there. And Download, again, I feel like Download could mix it up a little bit more. I think they have the same headliners every year.
We have not problems, but some of the times we don't know which festivals to target, because we're not a metal band and we're not a rock band. We sort of
you're like a hard rock band.
We sort of sweep into all these areas, and sometimes even like Bloodstock and that. I mean, some of these, don't get me wrong, some of the rock bands that are playing these festivals now, it's all starting to come back a bit. But dominantly you think, maybe we're a bit too light for that festival. Maybe we're really too heavy for that festival. And we sort of float around a bit of where we should be. But I like that in a way. I don't like being labelled anyway. I don't do labels.
No, and it's good because when I first listened to you years ago with the original singer, our first album, I'll make the comparison again. My first thought was Alter Bridge. That was the first thought, was Alter Bridge. And Alter Bridge for me are like they're like a rock, but they've got metal elements.
Yeah.
Still a rock band. Miles Kennedy, Tremonti, rock guitarist. They might disagree. They might say that, but that's what makes you good. That's what you can slot in. You could play Bloodstock, and you might be on the softer side of Bloodstock because you've got the proper, Cradle of Filth. You've got your proper.
I mean, the day we played, the headliner was Lamb of God, and we're certainly no Lamb of God.
You're not really Lamb of God.
It's really nice to see the mixture of that sort of stuff. Yeah.
But then, if you went to Download, you could easily you'd be a lot heavier than, say, Massive Wagons or The Darkness or or Skindred. Yeah, you'd probably say you're heavier than Skindred, but it's it's good that you can mix across the genres.
I'd love to get back to Download though, because we played, say, it's quite a while ago now. I think it was 2014. We played the year, I think Aerosmith were headlining the day we played. But there is still something special about going and playing like Donny, and you know what I mean. It's got there's a part of me which, back from the Monsters of Rock days, which was just my dream lineups. That's the sort of music I was into, still am. And there is a massive buzz when you get to Donny and you just go and play a show. It's just a brilliant place.
Absolutely, mate. So So who are your personal influences before you sort of missed off your influences were, John, as a drummer?
As a drummer?
Yeah.
I've got quite a lot of mixed influences. I mean, my favourite drummer, well, I haven't got one, but Keith Moon was a massive thing in my life when I was a kid, just because he was so crazy. And then I used to sit there and cover as many Who songs as I could. And then you suddenly realised after watching videos and listening to albums how crazy he was, because he never really played anything the same. He just did what he wanted. And I quite like that. But on a serious note of drummers, I mean, I love back like the Ian Mosley of Marillion. It's just something about his style, very controlled, but just on it. It's just brilliant. But I love loads of them. I love rock drummers as well, just straight beat rock drummers, even your AC/DCs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just like anything that nods your head. I'm not into technical metal, not because I don't like bands who play that. I just love music to rock, and you can nod your head. And that's what Stormbringer tries to do. Big choruses, knock your head. We call it the baby bouncer. If you can go like this for the whole song, then you've played a tune. The baby bouncer. It's like putting an elastic band on a baby and bouncing up and down. If it goes like that for the whole song, it's a cool track. Yeah.
Medication, that song, Baby Bouncer. All
yeah,
the way,
definitely.
Great song, really good song. No, thanks for that, John. So tell me about the video actually for Medication. Who came up with that idea? Because it's a great video to watch. Really well produced actually as well. It's good.
I think it was done by Chris Barris.
Was it?
Obviously, Chris Barris made both the videos for the last album. Yeah, he did
that's awesome.
Medication. He put a lot of input in with Mike actually, because obviously Mike, with the lyric side of it, knew sort of what he wanted. Chris sort of went, "You're crazy, we can't do all that, but I can sort of take the story and make my version of it," which he did, and he did a great job. And he also did Morning Roses, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. I saw Morning Roses. Right, okay.
So big shout out to Chris really, because he did us proud. He was on it. He's a really cool guy. So
come on my channel, Chris. I messaged.
Yeah, come on the channel, Chris. He'll come.
That's how Shaman's Harvest. It's the same. They got the same media guy.
Okay.
I dropped him a message the other week, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll get some bands on your channel. Give me a couple of weeks. I'll sort it out for you." Because they said Chris is obviously on tour at the moment, so probably a little bit busy, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
I understand that, you know. But it's good to get people booked, you know, a little bit in advance and get a few people on.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Chris Barris, what a great band. What a great band, Chris Barris.
He's doing well. He's doing all right.
New album's a banger as well. Really good stuff.
It is, yeah. I've been listening to it.
Yeah.
Some tunes on there, yeah.
There is, again, so this is what I mean. There's some good rock music out there if you dig for it, guys. You know, so really, really good. So, what's the best gig you've ever been to?
I've ever been to as a punter?
As a punter.
The best show I've ever been to was David Bowie at Rock City in Nottingham. It was like a real small show, 1,300 people on the Earthling tour. Absolutely blew my mind. I love Bowie. Brilliant show. And he had a great band as well.
Yeah. So, I've got a confession to make. I'm not a big Bowie fan.
Okay, yeah, that's what I say. That's music. Some people love it, some people hate it. So.
And I get a lot of criticism. Like, how can you not like Dave Bowie? It's like, just never liked it. Just never liked it.
Yeah, well, see, if it doesn't float your boat, then it doesn't. Yeah.
No,
great show, brilliant show.
And what made it so brilliant? What made it great, John?
Just watching him with his band. The band were just amazing. Like, they're just all on it, and it was a long time ago, and it was great seeing an artist who was that big, who still wanted to go and play small venues, and he was still running VHS video stack players on the back for all his back screens and stuff. So that old, long time ago, but just a great show. Yeah. What a venue as well. Love that place. I
do like bands that drop down, that play arenas. Muse have done it a couple of times. They go and just play the Academy, and it's amazing. It's really good, because I like arenas. I like them, but I love Manchester Academy too. I prefer all the smaller shows. I like to feel the bass, feel the kit. I just love them sort of intimate venues. But I'm not saying like 200-300 venues. To be fair, I love them sort of venues anyway. I love playing them. I love watching them. But yeah, even like going to watch a big artist playing somewhere like Rock City, it's so much better than going to Wembley or something like that. It doesn't interest me. I don't know why. I just can't get into the gig. If I can talk to me mate standing next to me, in a gig, I want my eardrums blown out. No, you know, again, I totally get it. My favourite, I think, actually, I've missed the venue off. My actual favourite venue of all time is the Manchester Apollo, because I think it's just under 2,000. I think it's 1,800. You've got obviously. I like the fact that it's tiered. It's tiered. So if you stand, you don't. And I went to see Steel Panther there last. And that was brilliant. They were hilarious. Just it's 85% music, 15% comedy show. And they were talking about how the support band had to have smaller penises than them, and theirs are all tiny, and it was just like it's just brilliant. And But I love, you're right, because the size of the venue is really intimate, you know, and it's, actually, no, the last one I would see there was Volbeat.
Okay.
Yeah, last week was Volbeat, and Danko Jones played, and another band, which I'm gonna, I forgot. They're, they do all their own stuff again. It begins with B. Oh, damn, that's gonna slip my mind. But yeah, no, really good venue. What's your favourite venue then?
Blimey. Ooh, I don't know. Like I say, I like small venues.
Okay, well, give us a couple. Give us a few.
Back in the day, when I was young, we used to just travel around in a van and all jump in it and just go anywhere. And there'd be people rolling around in the back. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can't do that anymore, but we used to go to places like the Rat Hole in Tamworth, and we'd go and see Wolfsbane play there every other week, you know, and little gigs like that. And we'd go, I don't know, I mean, one of the best another one of the finest shows we saw was Marillion playing on the Brave tour at Aylesbury, sort of their hometown. What a show that was. That'll stay with me for the rest of my life as well. But we just went anywhere. And we used to pretty much live at Milton Keynes, the Wolfton Centre, because there'd be a gig on every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And we just used to go. And Zentrix were always the support band every week. But it was all thrash bands and stuff. And we used to just go and watch. Just used to turn up. We didn't even know who was playing. We'd just go and get in a van, turn up and see who's on. And we'd just live in places like that. That was our childhood. So, yeah. But I like small venues. Yeah. I do like small venues.
There's a couple, Liverpool Barfly, that doesn't exist anymore. Leeds Club.
No, they've got a lot of them gone, haven't they?
Satan's Hollow. The Manchester Roadhouse.
Yeah.
So many good, great venues, you know.
But again, like we were saying earlier, it just shows that people are just not going to shows. So these venues don't survive.
But Rebellion is a new venue. Liverpool Hangar 67, a brand new music venue. So again, it's coming
There's
around.
hope, there is hope. I mean, we've got one. There's one down the road from us, Club 85. We love playing there. So that's
awesome. Big shout out to Club 85. Is that a new venue?
But again, it's a nice size. It's like one of them sort of venues. Probably holds, I don't know what it is, 200 to 400 or something like that. But great stage, great rig, good venue.
If any
Roadmender's always a favourite because obviously hometown Northamptonshire.
Yeah.
Roadmender, we love playing there. It's a great venue. It holds about 800, so that's another awesome. Good venue. But there's loads of these still around, and they're the ones we just love playing. I'm looking forward to playing like the Manchester show and the Newcastle shows because we've never played their venues, and they're of similar sort of size and they're still going. It's great. It's great to see.
And you know, if a local band can go there and play in front of 400 people, sell out the place, you know, all right, the support band will bring 20 people, the other support band will bring 40 people. You've got 50 randomers, and you got 200 odd of your own fans. That'd be amazing.
And you find you do find this. You go to play shows, and you sort of play into the local heroes. Yeah. Like you'll have your 2-3 support bands, and they're your crowd. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, you get in 20-30 guys from all the bands to stand and watch as well. And it's a great thing to go and watch all the bands. I mean, we're not a band who sits backstage and don't recognise all the other bands. We don't do that. We're out because we love it. We want to go and watch music as well as playing it. And that's just how the scene is. So we can do shows to 400 in Northampton, then we can go and do a show somewhere we've never played before and get 20-30. But we're still lucky enough to get 20-30 people in some of these towns we've never played before. So it's cool. I don't care. I don't care as long as people enjoy themselves. So we do all right. There's never a dull moment that I can't remember that many shows we've turned up to play and there's nobody there. So,
well, I can honestly say that I've experienced that. No, not nobody there, but maybe 30 people. It's 30 people that are willing to listen. Yeah. And I sold some albums.
We always try and still put a show on, whether there's 30 or 300.
I make a habit of running off into the crowd and sitting next to them and singing to them. It's like serenading them. I remember I was in a covers band and I played it was in this really rough part of Warrington, and we played this. I forgot the name of the pub, but it was proper rough. And a woman was going to me, "Oh, they made it dead posh. They put curtains up." It's like, and then they said, "Don't open the fire escape to because someone got shot there." I was like,
"Oh, really?"
Noted. So we played this gig, and we played to about 40 people, and there was definitely a few trips to the toilet, and it wasn't to go for a wee. And it was bizarre, but we had a great night, and it was funny. So yeah, no, that was the Griffin. No, it wasn't the Griffin. No, it was another one. It'll come to me.
And then we've got places like we go to the Channel Islands twice a year, and there's a venue called the Vault. And a big shout out to everyone in the Channel Islands because they look after us. They're brilliant people. As I say, we go twice a year, every year, and it's just an awesome weekend. And the guys out there are just absolutely brilliant, and they love their music, and they come out, and every show we play just sells out, and it's just brilliant to be there, and great trips. Yeah, good memories of the Channel Islands. So.
Great. Okay, John. Well, we're going to move on to the pinnacle of the Chats with Izzy, the fun question section. Be ready, strap in. And also, just for those people watching who are listening on podcast, John is sitting in like a dark room, and he's actually getting darker as he's going. But I was going to tell him to turn the lights on, but no, I quite like it.
I'm really forward under the light. I've got a single light up here in the corner. But yeah, it is getting dark. I mean, I don't know what time it is.
It's good, man. I like it. No, keep it. It's giving a bit of ambience to the visual element of it. And
I'm actually in my music room at home. So
no, I gathered that. There's a nice Marshall stat behind. I can see an electric drum kit as well. So
yeah,
that's
it's just
awesome.
practically in the corner, a few guitars on the wall. But yeah, it's basically where mainly the kids come and trash everything and smack crap out the drum kit and play the guitars. And that's, to be fair, what this room was made for. All my sort of grandkids come up here and they can do what they want. I don't care. That's how my mum and dad with me. I was 12 years old and I was playing my drums in my bedroom, and as far as I'm concerned, they can do the same. So yeah, it's cool.
Well, I've started playing guitar about 4 years ago, and I love it. I'm not the best. I'm okay. Yeah. I can play a few songs. I'm still learning Knights of Sidonia to get it perfect by Muse. So, but no,
cool.
Music, good song. So, the first question is one that is a mainstay in my selection. You've got a portion of chips, you go into the chippy, are you having gravy or curry on your chips?
Definitely curry every time.
Wow, what a selection. There's no wrong answer in these things. It's just I will judge you a little bit if you say something like mayonnaise, which Rob from Solvay...
No, I hate mayonnaise. It's just oil and egg. I just don't want to eat that crap. So.
Totally. So, excellent. Curry sauce. Half rice, half chips curry sauce for me. Yum.
Yeah, cool.
For dessert, are you having sticky toffee pudding or apple crumble?
I'd have to go apple crumble because I actually go cheesecake every time, and you didn't say it, but apple crumble and custard is awesome. So.
Apple crumble and custard. I had apple crumble and custard tonight. Sarah's home cooked food here out in the UAE. Big shout out to Sarah. Some great food. So thank you very much for sending me those. If you could create a super group with you in as drummer, who would you have? You could have a singer, you could have two guitarists if you want, or drummer and bass, or you can have singer, guitarist, keyboard, bass.
Well, I'd definitely, if I was on the drums, I'd definitely have to have. Oh God, this is a trick one, isn't it? Randy Rhoads would definitely be my guitarist because he's an all-time hero.
That's a nice
choice.
And
to be fair, as bass players go, Rudy Sarzo was, when him and Tommy Aldridge moved, like they were with Ozzy, and they went to Whitesnate, they were my favourite rhythm section. So I'll probably keep Rudy Sarzo on bass as well. Singers. Who's my favourite singer? Blimey, that's a difficult one. So I like lots of different styles of music. I don't know. Who would I have as singer? I'd probably still have someone like Fish, the original Maroon singer, because he's just awesome. Just his whole mental attitude to it all. Probably not the best singer in the world, but just awesome. So probably mix it up and have a prog singer, and definitely some rock and roll guitar and bass going on. So
that sounds awesome. Sounds like a hybrid Velvet Revolver band. Yeah, awesome.
I go through stages though. I have favourite bands, and then I just completely change every week. So it's a difficult one.
Yes. No, I get that. And the final question is, if you could own any zoo animal, what would you own?
A zoo animal.
Yeah, no dogs.
I would probably have a wolf, to be fair, because for the last 15 years I've always taken in stray huskies and dogs and rehomed them. And wolves are cool as it's the best animal in the world, isn't it? So I'd definitely go for a wolf. Yeah,
I love dogs.
I love dog crazy. And I'll say Siberian huskies and Malamutes we've had 30 or 40 over the last 10 to 15 years. Yeah.
I can't have them because I'm allergic to the hair.
Really?
I can only have, if I was going to get a dog, I'm going to get a hypoallergenic dog.
Yeah, but huskies are not. They're not actually like dogs. They don't have dog hair because they actually have fur, and their DNA is closer to a polar bear than it is to a dog.
Oh,
so
maybe a Siberian husky
right.
is hypoallergenic.
You might be all right with a husky.
It's the dander. It's not the hair. It's the dander. It's weird. It's funny. So no, I would have a penguin. I was thinking about this question before. I'd have a penguin. I just love
I hate the smell of fish though. I hate fish, and I think penguins are cool, but they just stink of fish, don't they? So I couldn't cope with that.
But it's funny because I just think if I was sat on the couch, and next thing I'd have the penguin that just waddled in and then sort of hopped on the couch and sat, and then I can imagine like a dog just sort of flops down. I could just imagine a penguin would just go and just flop like vertical, like it's just been like keeled over, and then just go to sleep. I don't know why I thought of this. See, this is what happens when you spend a lot of time on your own. You think of these weird questions for the channel, and you go, this is a really good question. I'm going to ask this question. I think this one might stay for a while now. Thanks for that one. A wolf. I'm going for, so everyone knows mine's penguin, and a wolf for John. And the final question is, tell me a funny story from a tour. I love the funny stories. I
can tell you funny stories. I can actually tell you a funny story. We played, I won't say the venue, played somewhere in London. And there was an Italian band who supported us. They worked out of London. And what you suddenly got to realise about some of these London bands is that they're so used to just turning up to shows with minimal equipment. They just travel around on tubes and stuff. And they'd already dropped us, or they'd already dropped the management an email sort of saying, can we use gear and everything? And we'd sort of said, yeah, you can use drum shells and cabs, but obviously no heads and like, the norm for a tour.
Yeah, no breakables.
Yeah. And they sort of turned up with just 2 guitars, I think. And just thought, I need to use all your amps, need to use your drumsticks, need to use your cymbals. And we were like, well, that's not going to happen, And then there was just a massive argument on the stage, and we finished our sound check, and they were due to go on, and they were just arguing in Italian, and I just started losing my shit pretty much. And I'm not going to lie, and it got to the point where the singer guitarist was just shouting at me, and I said to him, look, every time you carry on shouting at me, I'm just going to remove another stand off my drum kit. It got to that stage. And he carried on, and so I'd take another stand away, and he carried on, I'd take another stand away. And in the end, the drummer was just pleading with his guitarist, saying, can you just please stop giving him crap? I'm going to have no equipment to play with and stuff like that. So
it's going to be like one of those drum kits with just like a drum, a snare.
It's just absolutely pathetic. And then I'll just remember the engineer and the promoter going up to this band saying, look, you're eating into your stage time. Can you just get on with it? And they ended up arguing with me for so long that they played one song and then just got taken off. It was just bizarre. It was just absolutely bizarre. I mean, I'm not like a rock star or anything. I don't care. Anyone could use kit what's not breakable, but we were on tour. You can't use like cymbals and guitar heads.
Expensive
it's expensive shit.
Yeah.
It's not like your guitar cab or you're pretty hard to break one of them. But they just turned up with nothing. It's just like, this is not happening. And you couldn't have made it up. It was just absolutely unbelievable. So there you go. That's the funniest one.
There for that. like that. Bag of
I've got a
popcorn.
few.
This is great.
I've got a few funny stories from the day back in the days. I was a tour sound engineer as well, and I had a famous singer guitarist out of a big band, and he came and played. It was a small place I was just doing sound for, and obviously with some of these small places, you have crap equipment and you have to deal with it, crap desk or crap monitors or whatever. And he turned up really late. He didn't want to do a sound check. He was quite one of them characters. It's all about me sort of character. Well, fine, no worries. The support bands went on, blew it. It was awesome, great night. And then he went on and he started playing his guitar, and he looked really angry at me and kept staring at me across the room. And then he took his guitar off, walked through the crowd, walked up to my mixing desk and prodded me in the stomach and went, "You come here to the stage." I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I walked back to the stage with him, back through the crowd of people. He puts back on his guitar. He starts strumming it and playing it, staring me down, and he stopped, poked me again and said, "This is a £10,000 guitar." Pointed to this crap monitor and said, "Does it sound like a £10,000 guitar to you?" And at that point, after prodding me for the 5th time, I grabbed him by the head and put his head in the monitor and went, "That's a 90 quid fucking monitor. Does it sound like your £10,000 guitar is going to sound any good for it?" Walked off the stage and left the stage. And then his tour manager came running up behind me and went, "Oh, we don't want no problems. Can you do the sound? Can you do sound?" And I said, "You see this guy here?" And I pointed to my mate. He goes, "Yeah." He said, "He's the lighting engineer." And I went, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." I said, "He's now your sound engineer." And then I just left the building and stood outside for half an hour.
John, that is amazing. Shout out to you for saying no to the big popular guitarist that we can't name.
I mean, I'm pretty old school. Everyone to me is a human being, and everyone, if you're famous or not famous, we all should just get on and enjoy the moment. But people like that, I just ain't got the time of day for.
Do you know what? And John, that's massive. That's massive respect to you, because there's some people that would have just got a little bit stressed at that situation. And I was talking to my friend John, again, Buy Me a Coffee subscriber, Patreon, big supporter of the channel. Big shout out to John, thank you. And he was saying to me the other day that we were talking about this. He was saying we were given a list of people that we thought would be really that are really famous, but actually would be a little bit, might be a bit of an arsehole in real life. And we gave a list, and we won't name the list because it was personal. But there's a lot of people out there that are actually just really sound and really, that they're famous. And the one that comes across to me, who always looks like he'd be a really good guy, is Miles Kennedy. Miles Kennedy comes across as a rock star, but looks like a top guy. The kind of guy that I go, "I can't hear myself. Can you just turn it up, please, mate?" And that's what you want. And don't fuck with your sound engineer. If any bands are watching this, don't fuck with your sounding engineer, because he'll screw you.
To be fair, I mean, I did that for 10 years, and I was so pleased to get back on the stage and get on, because you're always on a loser being the engineer, because if you do a good job, no one ever thanks you. And if you do a terrible job, you're shit. You're the enemy. So you never win as a sound engineer, and you can see why some of them are the way they are. So, I don't miss that at all.
Al Lindsay, who's one of my friends, who again, he supports the channel, and he's a sound engineer, and he said the first rule is never upset your sound engineer. He said, because they can make your life really hard. So.
Well, we're lucky because we've got a couple of guys who work with us, and Matt Culpepper and Luke, and they're absolutely awesome sound engineers, and they know their shit inside out. So no one will ever have to go up to them and sort of say this, that, and the other, because they're great guys. They know their stuff. They're on it all the time. So we're lucky. We've got two engineers who we work with all the time, and they're both awesome.
That's brilliant. Awesome. Yeah. Right, John. Well, that brings it to the end of our episode of Chats with Izzy. You've been a storm man. You've been a Stormbringer. Sorry, I couldn't resist. That was not pre-planned. That was just popped into my head. I might even cut that out. It was so bad. I won't.
No, leave it in. Cheese is great.
Bit of cheese. But no, honestly, mate, we've had a really good chat today, and we chatted about some different stuff. So really, thank you very much for coming on. Good luck with the tour. Good luck with the record label and trying to keep pushing those unsigned bands. I really hope you make it back to Bloodstock or to download soon, because the new album's sick. For those that haven't checked it out, it is on Spotify, and the new album is called AIIV.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, it is AIIV, or is that's not a Roman numeral number, is it?
No, it is AIIV. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks very much for coming on, John. And it's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
See you soon.